Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away, and we haven't seen this one for a while. We've now got pack 8 of the Agora Models release of Build the Zero Fighter. The Mitsubishi A6M Zero Fighter, to be precise. Now, because we haven't done this for so long, I thought I'm going to give you an idea of what we've actually completed so far. As you can see, it's ginormous, but this is obviously the main cockpit area and the wings that we have completed. We also did this engine area here, albeit hard, with all the radials and stuff in place, and obviously this top is magnetic, it goes on, keeps that into place there. We started on the main body of the plane, which looks like that. A lot of electrics already installed in that, and we do have a couple of little bits like switches here. We've got some brackets here. We've got some test boards, or a test board, which almost dropped, which looks like this. And then finally, we did start working on one of the bases here. But I'm not quite sure what we're doing in this one. I think it starts off with some of the elevators and lifters. I think there's about 9 stages in this pack 8 as well. So if you want to get this for yourself, I'll put the link down here to the Agora Models website. You can get this all the way from pack 1. And over there at the moment, you've got the Super Snake, the Cobra, the Terminator, the Bismarck, this, the Zero Fighter, the Leopard tank, the Routemaster bus, the New York fire truck, and the Bismarck. I think that's everything. No, the Jaguar. I've said Bismarck twice, didn't I? The Jaguar E-Type. We get there. I'm going to get that right one time, I'm telling you. Anyway, look, without further ado, let's get cracking. So we're going to be starting this with stage 62, and that's basically, we're going to be assembling one of the elevators. Now, we did already do one of these in the previous pack, and that looks just like that. Obviously, we're going to be doing the other side now. So just like last time, I'm going to take this section here, which is plastic, and we have got these tiny hinges here, which are just going to go into the channels here, and another one, whoops, very small these are, onto the other side here. Now we want to hold them into place, so we have got the bracket that looks like this to put over the top, and this is directional because you do have lugs on the back. One is thicker than the other one there, so it's going to go on this way. I can't believe I've done that first time. That never happens. And we're going to hold that in with 2 screws. These are tiny screws with flat heads that look just like this from this side here. So one here. Excellent. All the screws we need for this come in this pack, or this stage. And one the other side here. We've got this shaft then that's just going to go through those 2 holes. 1 and 2. Then we're going to take the grey, I mean my colour blindness is terrible here, but the grey section here, and we're going to be putting this into this section here. So it's going to be going this way round. Whoops, my shaft's fallen out. Let's put that back in. And it's going to fit in the channel that we see there. Just like that. I'll hold it with my finger, because I don't want that falling out. We've then got this little hinge, which is going into this hinge channel here, just like that. I'm going to use my scalpel here. I'm just going to put that underneath so that doesn't drop too far down. And that keeps that in place, because I'm going to be working now on this side here. Very delicate work this is, isn't it? Now, over the end of this section, we've got a bearing to put on. Now, the bearing, once I push this on the end, needs to go all the way flush to the section below it. So I'm going to keep turning this until it is completely flush, as you can see on that section there. And then we've got a D-shaped fixing, which looks like this, which is just going to go on the end, and I need to make sure this is in the right way. Now we want to piece all of these together without anything falling out, so this should be fun. I've just done a dry fit there to make sure that's going to work, because this is all glued into place, you see. So I am going to just drop some glue just into these holes here. Here, here, and here. And I'm going to attach these together. Hopefully, we can do this first time. I think we've got it first time. Excellent. Just holding that into place to make sure that bond's okay. Excellent. That's perfect in place. Now we're going to want to install these elevators into place here. So the left is going to go on this side and the right side is going to go on the other side. They're actually just going to go just onto these two holes that we can just see here. There's actually 3 screw holes in there, if you can see from the top, 2 at the bottom, 1 on this side here. And then we're going to be marrying them up with the ones on the other side here, making sure that this point here is going into the end of the tab that we put in just there. So I'll get this one in as well. So that looks just like that. Now we're going to hold this into place with 3 of the flange screws that we get in this pack. So that's 1, that's 2, and then I'm just going to push these a little bit more together like that. So they're fully interlocked now, and I'll put the last flange screw in. This one's going to be a little bit tricky to get to, because as you can see, we've got this linkage just in the way of that. So what I think I'm going to do is just take that linkage out for a second, so I can get this last screw in, and then I'll put that back in afterwards. Linkage is back in, so now that looks just like that. Now we want to take these brackets from the previous pack, and the one I want looks just like that. That's going to be going over the top of this section, holding that all into place. So this takes 2 different size screws. First off, we've got a pack of 4 screws that came in stage 62. They look like that. They're just going to go in this side here. And there's 3 of those. Look at me, I tried to put them in the other side there, so the screws are waiting for me. And that's 3. And then on the other side here, we've got 3 screws which came in stage 59. From what I can see, the difference between these screws is that the ones on the left side have got round heads, and the ones on the right side have got flat heads. Now it wants me to put the arm from stage 52 into the servo motor. Now I've already got mine in, as you can see, just like that. So all I have to do then is put a linkage in. This is the linkage here. That linkage is going to go into the hole just on the tail here. So one in this side like this. And then the other side is going to go into the linkage along the side just here. Put that in. Might be better actually to put this side in first, and then put the other side in afterwards. Make sure it does go down that channel just there, and then that's that linkage in as well. That's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 63, we're going to continue working on the frame for the pedestal, and these are all the parts for that, including these really bulky screws here. So we're going to take the part that we already worked on, that we put the bracket in, and quite simply, this one is going to go into these points just here. And we're going to screw those together with 2 of those really big screws that I just showed you. One in that side, one in the other side here. And then we do have these screws left over, and this part. And we've also got these 2 brackets, but we don't actually do anything in this stage with those. That's the end of the stage, so I'm going to keep these safe. Electrics in stage 64. We're going to be installing the circuit board here. Again, we've got some screws in this one. So I know a lot of you like looking at circuit boards. This is what the circuit board looks like. And this is what it looks like for the other side here. I'm going to bring over this section that we've been working on previously. The circuit board mounts to the left side here. So probably best on the top camera. It's going to go this way around. It's going to sit on those lifters there. And we're going to secure that in with the screws that come in this pack, which are these ones here, and it takes 4 of those screws. So that's 1. And I'll get the other 3 in as well. And as you can see, that's now all in place. I'm going to put that to one side because we've got a rather weird instruction now. and it involves the wing section with the cockpit. Basically, they want us to remove the cockpit. So the cockpit is held in by 4 screws, 2 at the front, 2 at the back. So I'm going to get this off, which is a bit of a shame because I thought once this is in place, that was it. Obviously not. Let's keep these screws safe. Gently taking this off. There we go. That's the cockpit removed. We basically had to do that because we're going to be piecing together this area here with the main body of the plane. Now, these sections that you see here are going to go over these sections here. I want to make sure that this wire here, now if I'm following the instructions of how they've got this, when we put this in, this wire here is going through these points here. So when I put this on top, hopefully you can see that on one of the cameras, it's going to fit in just like that. Now in stage 55, we had these flange screws here. That's what's going to hold these in. So I need 4 of these. And I will get these all screwed in to the other 3 holes. And there we go, they're all in place. Now we're going to start doing some of these connections to keep these all into place. So the first thing we're going to do is on the right hand side of the plane, we want to take the servo here and we want to feed that through the hole that we've got in this side here, so we can bring that out the other side. Now this one's going into the top, probably best on the picture here, but into the top plug just here. And we're just basically matching the numbers here, it says H1, with the letters on the circuit board. So as you can see, H1 there has gone into H1. Now all the labels for these are on the plugs, as you can see there. And then when that's done, all the wires from this side and the wires from this side are all coming around this section just like that, as you can see there. Get my hand out of the way, and they should all be plugged into the control board just like that. Little bit of a mess, but that's how they're meant to look. Now the cavity here is where we want most of the wires to end up, so that we haven't got too much slack on the wires behind the cockpit, because we're about to put the cockpit back into place now. So I'm just going to tidy these wires up so they're exactly where I want them. I'm mainly just interested in the wing wires here. I'm going to put the cockpit back on top. They want the wires for this coming out either way, either side, like this. Put this over the top of this section. And then I'm going to remount the cockpit. So let's show you where we're up to at the moment. Quite a long stage, this one. So that's looking like that. Got one wire hanging out the other side there, but all of the cables are in place. Now we have got a gear cover to put on. That looks just like that. And it's basically covering this gear that we've got on the right side of the engine here. So this is going to go over the top like that there. And that goes in with the screw that came in issue 57. Put that into place. And that holds that perfectly into place there. And that was a pretty amazing stage, but let me show you what that looks like. Check that out. The electrics are quite tidy at the moment, so I'm happy with that. For me, that's crazy. I do have a lead which isn't connected here. This is lead B. It hasn't asked me to connect that yet. Just have a look at the circuit board. Lead B is actually going down the bottom here. Now I don't know if we're meant to connect that now or not. I think I will connect it, and that way I'm not going to forget about it later on. So aside from these power wires that we've got at the back here, every other lead that I've got that was loose on the plane is now connected to that circuit board. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 65, we've got the slider assembly, which means we've got this board, we've got these large screws again, and we have got some parts for the slider, which we're going to be working on now, which look like this. And what we've got to do first is take these poles out, and quite simply they're just going to go down the shafts here and here, like that. But that, believe it or not, is all we have to do in that stage. This is what's left over. Obviously, we're going to need that later on. Now, stage 66, we've got the first lifting device for the pedestal. So I'll get all these parts out, and we're going to be bringing back the part that came in issue 65 here, and we also need the slider. Now, these poles are going to be going into the points here, just pushing them in. You do want to make sure they're all the way down, so they're not going anywhere, and also that this slider here, the notch that's this side, is actually pointing towards this edge. We take the cradle that's going on the top here, we're just going to thread that over the slider here, so that the poles here are going into these two sections on both sides. So it's this way round, and it's going to go in just like this. Make sure they're fully engaged in there. And I'm using my hammer here just to help me get that all the way to the bottom, like that. So the slider is still able to go up, but that's now fixed into place. We've got this lovely central shaft here that looks like that. That's just going to go down the end, and it's going to engage with the slider at the bottom there, like that. And we're going to hold all of this into place with 6 of the screws that come in this stage. They look like that. And they're going to hold this base into place here. So I'll get all of these in and show you what that looks like. And there we go. That's all 6 of those screws in place. Now, if you remember, we had these limiter switches here. These came, I believe, in stage 61. We're going to mount this now. That's just going to slide down into this section here, making sure that the it's this way round. So you've got the tab at the bottom. That tab at the bottom there is going to engage with the hole that you can just see there. So put this in, slide it all the way down, making sure that this limiting switch here is being pressed against that point there, so it can go all the way down. And then we've got one of the thinner screws that came in this pack here. That's going to hold that into place. Just like that. So now when this slider comes up, I don't know if I can demonstrate this. As you can see, it's going to activate the switch there. And then when it goes down, the switch at the bottom. And that's all there is to do in that stage. We do actually get remote control in this stage, but I'll keep this wrapped up for now. Then stage 67, we're still working on the lifting device, but this is the gearbox. This is the electrics, which are going to make it go up and down. So I'm going to assemble the gears here. Now we've got 3 shafts to put in to the holes you can see on this section here. So put these in. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take the motor and thread the wire through the hole here, so it comes out the other side, and then this is going to rest in the cavity just like that. So you can see the wires coming out the bottom. Now I've got a camshaft here with a long rod and a short one. The long rod is what I want to thread through the bottom here, so it comes up into this section here just like that. And then we're going to be putting the gears into place. So we've got a larger cog with a larger gear on top. That's going to go here. That's going to engage with the motor. And then the other 2 are the same. They're going to go next to it. Again, making sure they're all engaged with each other, which they are, as you can see there, and they step up. And then we've got this large one here, and that's just going to go on this way with this point facing down. It has got a semicircular shape, so it can only go in one way. And I'm going to put that over the top, ensuring that it's engaged with the gear on this side here. Now obviously we don't want that all falling out, so we're going to close that off with the cap here, making sure that the rod shafts here engage with the holes on this side, so it should fit perfectly flush. Let's It might take some manipulation. That looks good. Everything's into place. It just clips in, and there we go. We've got one complete section. You know you've got it right and they're engaged because this shouldn't move. This is now powered under the motor's strength. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So stage 68, we're going to start attaching the underside panel of the left wing. More screws here. I've got so many screws in this build, which means we are going to need to bring the plane back over. So here's the plane here. This is the left wing, and this is going to go on the underside of that wing here. Now I have got the holes on the top of the wing, which is what I'm using to align these up. So this is going to go in just like this. That looks good. And we've got 7 screws that came in a pack in this one, which is going to attach all of this together. Now you do have different kinds of screws in here. There's 7 in total. So you've got 68 02s, which go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one. 6 there. And then here we've got 68 03s, which are shorter screws that just go into the end here. Now we do have a part of the fuselage here which isn't used because that's all there is to do in that stage. That looks really good. Let's look what it looks like from the bottom there. That looks brilliant. Love it. Okay. Moving away from the plane just for stage 69, where we're going to be working on a bit more of the base. And as you can see here, we've got another limiting switch to make. And just like last time, we're going to be mounting the limiting switches into this section here, just using the tiny 6905 screws. So that's the limiting switches in place. Bring over our stand again, and just quite simply, this one's going to be attaching to this one here. Then we have a bracket which is going to go on the top there. Once again, we're using these large screws to fit that into place. So one here. And one on the other side. We've got this larger plate to put on, which looks like this. That's going to go on the bottom there. And again, using the really large screws that we've got, we'll fix this one into place. And just one on the other side. Perfect. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Starting to become quite a big frame. But last stage, stage 70. Now stage 70 is pretty much a mirror of what we've done on the last wing. We're going to be putting the underside of the right wing on. We do have this excellent detail here. Check that out. Okay, let's bring up the plane again. Now remember, we're using 2 different kinds of screws for this one, but just like last time, this is going to go underneath and we're going to line up all of the holes here. And once again, use the shorter screws just at this side here. 2 of these. Excellent. And then we use the other screws just for all the other ones here. And there you go. That's the other underside done. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I love that. We've done loads in this stage, but that is looking absolutely brilliant. So happy with that. And obviously we've been working on the stand as well. I've got quite a few screws left over. I've obviously got the switch left over. I've got a bracket plate. Not quite sure what that's for. And I've also got this detail here as well. Just looking around what else we've got. We've obviously got some parts here as well. Some brackets, which I haven't done anything with yet as well. But if you are following along, I didn't want you to worry that you have got some pieces left over. But that's all there is to do in that pack. Oh, we'll do so have this as well, the fuselage part, which I'm guessing we're going to start fitting in pack 9, which is going to be here quite soon actually. So that'll be on the channel soon. You won't have to wait too long for that. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.